Welcome back. Today, we want to talk about when is the appropriate time to tell a prospective employer about the vacation you have already planned
Right,
right after your start date.
right. This is a minefield for the good girl.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are run by the good girl mindset or mentality, this is going to be a challenge for you. And it's a challenge because there's a guilt to it
Yeah.
that we hear.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't be a guilt, but there is a guilt that says, you know what? I just don't want to be dishonest with them. I want to let them know everything up front. I don't want to blindside them
Yeah.
later on. And you're doing none of the above,
Right.
actually.
Right.
You are being strategic.
Right.
And
So you're not being dishonest.
right.
It's just a question of when you're going to share something. And I think another piece of the mindset is,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. There's no employer out there who's thinking that carefully about hurting your feelings or not disclosing something to you.
Absolutely.
So you don't really owe a whole lot. All right.
Right.
It's just a question of the strategy and the timing.
Right. So here are the rules for when you should disclose your vacation plans.
Mm-hmm.
So rule number 1 is not before you receive the offer.
This is really important.
Uh-huh.
So when you're going through the process, you have to think defensively, especially in a tighter job market like one we're in right now, that the employer has more candidates than they want.
Absolutely.
Their job is to try to eliminate as many as possible. So sometimes we've talked about this in prior editions. They'll ask about your salary requirements. Right. That's a way to get someone, take them right off the list because they're too expensive. Right. Another one is start date. How soon can you start? Right. Another one would be if I'm looking to hire someone, I've got 300 candidates that I'm interviewing out of 5,000 that applied. If you tell me early on, oh, by the way, I know the start date is June 1st, and just so you know, I'm taking a family vacation June 15th. Boom, I'm not gonna put you through the process. So give them a chance to get to know you.
Absolutely. To
fall in love with you. If you tell them early, they're not going to invite you back in. Exactly. So this is a way, if you want to think of it, especially from that good girl mindset, that you're helping them because you're giving them a chance to really seriously consider your candidacy, which they would not do if in that first interview you say, by the way, 2 weeks after I start, I'm leaving for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that's the shift in the mindset right there. You are actually helping them out.
Right. Giving them a chance.
Yes,
right.
giving them that chance. All right. So number 2 is to do it without apology. Mm-hmm. And this is a big challenge because it's that, oh my gosh, am I letting them down now? Mm-hmm. Oh, I just sprung this on them.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying it very matter of factly. Right. And for some people, it requires some practice. So let's play it out. So you offer me the job and I review the offer. I come back to you and say, Kelly, I'm so excited. The offer looks great. You might want to tweak X or Y. Just want to let you know that I have a long planned family trip to Ireland. Yep. And I know the start date for this is June 1st. I'm totally in for that. We're leaving June 17th. This is a big, exciting trip for us. I'm excited to get started early, kind of lay the foundation so that when I come back from the vacation, there's not a whole lot of catch-up time. Right. So we'll talk later about the possible outcomes. But this was not apology. This was, I was smiling. I'm excited about my vacation.
Well, it's owning it.
It is.
And it's having a confidence in saying it. So this might be something that you need to practice because it might feel uncomfortable to you. And it might feel uncomfortable in the moment too.
Yep.
And that's okay. Everybody in the room is a human. And so there's going to be some kind of feelings and reactions to it. But if you own it and you own it with confidence and you're practiced, you're going to feel better in that space when you're doing that. Okay. So then the next one leads us to confidently.
You have to say it confidently.
Yeah.
So what made me confident in that scenario, what I was thinking is people plan vacations well in advance, especially now.
Right.
You have to, with challenges with passports, with challenges getting flights you can afford, with all the problems with the airlines. I mean, we plan our vacations well in advance. Nobody's going to Ireland and making the decision this week to leave next week. Right. So you are not the only candidate who's interviewing who has a vacation. What I try to, when I'm envisioning this play out, I try to say in my head, of the other 299 candidates that are interviewing, at least half of them have a vacation probably within the next couple of months, especially in this scenario, this example, we're talking about a June vacation. It also happens a lot around the holidays. So knowing that all the other candidates, a majority of them probably have vacations planned too, and they're not saying anything, especially if they're male.
Right.
No need to say it. So you are actually hurting yourself by saying it while these other people are not, and they might be in the same boat. They're very likely in a similar boat.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's just, this is your way to get in the door.
Yeah.
You know? And so, let's talk about the possible outcomes of what can
Exactly.
happen, because sometimes this is smooth sailing. Maybe this goes really well.
Right.
We've had clients where they have used this strategy. It's gone really well. They have gone on their vacation. They've continued their jobs. But, in a market like we are in right now, this could be a bit of a challenge.
And this is what made us think about this particular issue. We've not talked about this before. So my sister is a software sales executive. She was offered a job was to start in May. And they were so lucky to get her. She's a rock star, but she's also got that kind of good girl mindset. And from the very beginning, she's like, I need to tell them. She was the one that had the trip to Ireland for her whole family. I need to tell them because it's going to be like 3 weeks after I start. I said, you can't tell them.
Right.
They're not going to interview you. And they want you. You're the best candidate. You've got to go through the process. And she was so stressed out.
Sure.
So, she really like losing sleep over it. And we had to practice it, and I had to help her script it. And sure enough, when she presented to them just this way, thank you so much. I'm so excited to start. I'm available. Her case was May 1st. Yeah. Just so you know, I've got a family vacation that we've long planned to Ireland. My husband's fully Irish. I'm half. We're really excited about it. Timing is a little inconvenient. I will be leaving May 17th. Just wanted to make sure you're clear on that. Make sure you're comfortable with that. I'm excited because I have a little bit of time to get centered, and when I return, kind of be able to hit the ground running. And in her case, which that would have been perfectly adequate. Right. What was even better was the manager said, oh my gosh, Lynn, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just start when you get back, which was even better because it gave her a little more time off and she didn't have that stress of working until she left. But either scenario would have been acceptable. So in her case, it worked out really well. 90% of the time it works out really well. But I just had it not work out really well. Right. I had a client in a very, very competitive industry and was going to have to move about 900 miles to take the job. He was by far the best candidate for the job. And he was a little anxious too. And I said, you can't tell them because it was a job in the music industry and it's so competitive. Right. And people will work for nothing in the music industry to get in. This is on the agent side. And so he didn't tell them. And he did the same thing, same way. And the person really came down on him and said, I can't believe you didn't tell us in the interview. Fortunately, he was prepared.
So like worst case scenario, right? All the things.
Yeah. We're so excited you can start. Great. Yes, I'll be there on Monday. No problem. Just so you know, I'm in a wedding in Argentina in 2.5 weeks. So I'm going to be gone boom to boom. And he handled it just the way my sister did, but it didn't go as well. The person was upset. But he was prepared to then say, if you look at any of our videos on objection handling or watch any of our content on that, this will make sense to you. But he said, I understand. I know this is not the most convenient timing, but I also want you to understand that probably everybody else who was interviewing, or at least a lot of them, have vacations planned as well. And usually vacations aren't convenient. So I'm letting you know this now. I've already figured out how I can adjust my flights. So I miss maybe 1 day less on either end. Really confident that I can. And he did everything right and made them remember that other candidates had vacations planned too, and that I wasn't being dishonest. But I also know that you were asking me questions about availability when I was interviewing with the intern recruiter. Right. I was not, you were never going to have a chance to get to know me. And clearly, I'm the best candidate. It's why you made me the offer. They rescinded the offer. And my client was very upset. I was upset because I was so sure. But then once we had a little time to recover, I just talked to him yesterday. What we realized was that now they know who you are. When he got a letter from the recruiter was the one that delivered the news. But when he got an email from the hiring manager, he said, you know what? I'm sorry this didn't work out. We really do need continuity for this role right away, but we're glad we get to know you. And let us just tell you this, the next opportunity that opens up here, you're our guy. Right. So in the end,
well, he built a relationship. Exactly. He had told them his story. Exactly. They know who he is right now. So even making it all the way down the path, and using the strategy and losing the offer,
he's in much better shape.
There's still value, and I think that's something that people need to hear in this market right now. That because we're hearing this
every day,
all different places. Yeah. There is still value in getting your foot in the door. There's still value in making it all the way through the process. And this is one of those places where you could have taken yourself out.
Right.
If you played the
good
girl.
Right. Exactly. And he would not have, he's in a great position now. Yeah, he's in a great position right now. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
So there you have it, the rules for when you disclose vacation plans. If you like what you heard today, you can like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about us and our programming, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.